Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our webinar on Emissions Reduction Alberta Strategic Energy Management for Industry Program, or SEMI. We're glad you could join us today so we can share this great opportunity with you. Taking advantage of SEMI will set your facility on a path to success by enabling energy savings, increasing competitiveness, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge where we are. In the spirit of reconciliation, we at ERA acknowledge the privilege of living, working, and investing on traditional territories, which include Treaty 6, Treaty 7, and Treaty 8 nations. Otipemi Suuk, Métis government of the Métis Nation, Inuit, First Nations, and all others who live and care for these lands. We are dedicated to promoting a culture of collaboration and meaningful engagement. Before we get into the agenda, I would like to start by going through a few housekeeping items, just to make sure we get the most out of our time today. First of all, we're expecting almost 140 participants, so everyone's microphone is muted to avoid unintentional background noise. If you encounter technical challenges related to the webinar connection, please email semi@eralberta.ca. However, if you can't resolve your technical issues or if you need to leave early, don't worry. The recording of this webinar will be posted on the SEMI program website. The recording will include both the presentation and the live Q&A. Speaking of the Q&A, on the top right of your screen, you'll notice a question mark icon. Clicking this will open a side panel where you can type in your questions. You can submit your question anytime during this webinar. A quick note, please do not enter questions in the chat box. Now in terms of agenda for today. After introducing our guest speakers for today's webinar, I'll start with a high-level overview of the SEMI program. Then we'll go into the Energy Management Information System, or EMIS, in more details. We'll have Mostafa from Enerva helping us understand what these systems are and why it matters, as well as the eligibility criteria and the application process. Then, Ian from Spartan Controls will bring some insights into the implementation phase and success stories. Finally, we'll explain how the SEMI program can support you in implementing in EMIS. And we'll wrap up with a Q&A session. With that, let's get started. My name is Anna, and I'm the SEMI Marketing Strategist at Emissions Reduction Alberta. I'm joined by Mostafa, Program Director at Enerva, and Ian, a Solutions Consultant from Spartan Controls. Both Mostafa and Ian bring unique expertise to the table, and I'm excited to have them with us for today's conversation. Before we dive into today's session and discussion, I would like to start with a quick round of introductions. I'll begin with a brief overview of Emissions Reduction Alberta for those who might be less familiar with who we are and what we do. ERA has a proven track record of fulfilling the mandate, vision, and strategic priorities that you see on this slide. When Minister Rebecca Schultz announced our funding on October 16, 2024, she emphasized that businesses seeking access to capital must show a genuine commitment to reducing emissions and enhancing their environmental performance. ERA investments ensure Alberta has competitive businesses that deliver sustainable environmental outcomes, attract investments, create jobs, and grow our GDP. Our vision is anchored in the belief that our success is measured in both economic and environmental terms. I would like now to pass it over to Mostafa, who will provide an overview of Enerva Energy Solutions.
Hello, everyone. It's great to speak to you today. I briefly share a bit about Enerva. ERA selected Enerva through a procurement process to support the delivery of the SEMI program. We are a team of mechanical, electrical, and chemical engineers supported by technologists that understand energy use, energy performance, and energy analysis. We use a range of software tools to establish energy baseline, develop energy model, and evaluate energy performance improvements. We also leverage our library of energy savings opportunities for electrical and thermal energy systems. Calgary is home to our Center of Excellence for Energy Management. It serves as the development hub for our advanced energy and emission reduction analytics and is also the central location for our energy management professionals. Our primary goal is to provide exceptional services to the program participant and maximize your ability to leverage the SEMI program. Ian, would you like to introduce Spartan Control?
Yeah, hi everyone. Ian Ignatiuk with Spartan Controls. Yeah, Spartan Controls, hopefully many of you know us. Spartan Controls is an industrial automation provider here in Western Canada. We're really centered around our customers in Western Canada. We have 15 locations and around 1,500 employees spread across those locations. And we supply everything from end field devices, including valves and transmitters, which a lot of our customers know us for, to advanced technologies like we're here to talk about today, which include energy management and EMIS. Hopefully you guys can learn a few things around that. Back to you, Anna.
Thanks, Ian. Now that we've heard about Enerva's and Spartan's role, I'm excited to walk you through the SEMI program and how it's driving real impact. Our SEMI program helps industrial and manufacturing facilities improve their energy performance and increase profitability by offering co-funding to implement an integrated system of practices, processes, and capital retrofits. Taking advantage of the SEMI program will set your facility on a path to success by enabling energy savings, increasing competitiveness, and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. With funding from the Government of Alberta's Technology Innovation and Emissions Reduction Fund and Natural Resources Canada, SEMI offers financial incentives that cover up to 50% of eligible project costs for for-profit organizations and up to 100% for non-for-profits and Indigenous organizations. To be eligible, a facility must be owned or leased in Alberta and been in operation for at least 1 year. An additional requirement is for the facility to be operating in specific sector defined by the North American Industry Classification System. These include agriculture, forestry, mining, manufacturing, and transportation, to name a few. If you or your clients operate an industrial or manufacturing facility but have trouble finding your NAICS code, please contact us directly to discuss. You can find more detailed information on the SEMI program website, including documents such as program brochure, terms and conditions, application guidelines, and FAQ. For eligible facilities, the first step in the SEMI program is to complete a mandatory facility readiness assessment, or FRA. The FRA will provide recommendations on how to maximize your access to all SEMI activities, based on the facility's current energy management capabilities and readiness for implementing energy-saving measures. ERA's service provider, Enerva Energy Solutions, will deliver the FRA, as we want to ensure we are collecting data consistently. Also, a key outcome of the FRA is providing a roadmap for other SEMI activities. After completing the FRA, participants can sign up for any of the following 4 activities: conduct an energy assessment and audit, implement an energy management information system, participate in strategic energy management training, invest in energy efficiency-focused capital retrofits. Each of these options is designed to support organizations at different stages of their energy management journey. Mostafa will now walk us through that EMIS implementation can look like and share practical insights to support you no matter where you are on the journey. Mostafa, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Anna. Energy Management Information System, or you may hear us, we call it EMIS or EMIS, play a crucial role in enhancing energy efficiency within organizations. It encompasses a variety of tools and processes designed to gather, analyze, and report energy data effectively. By leveraging the facility data, you can identify energy savings opportunities, an important first step in any energy management process. Once measures are implemented, tracking and verification of energy savings ensure that the expected results are being achieved. Finally, optimizing operational efficiency completes the process, driving sustained cost reduction and measurable improvement in your energy performance. As indicated in the previous slide, EMIS provides your facility with the tool to effectively manage and optimize energy use. It begins with real-time monitoring of energy consumption, giving immediate visibility into usage patterns. This enables the early detection of the energy waste, allowing for prompt corrective actions. EMIS also supports continuous improvement, providing a structured approach for ongoing energy performance enhancement. It further drives informed decision-making by offering accurate data-driven insight that helps teams prioritize actions and investment. The outcome of using EMIS are significant, as you can see it here. Cost savings through improved energy efficiency, greenhouse or GHG reduction, supporting sustainability and regulatory goals, enhanced reporting and accountability, which are increasingly vital for internal and external stakeholders. Progress toward ISO 50001 certifications, helping your organization sustain energy management best practices. An EMIS is made of several key components that works together to provide meaningful insight and control over energy use. Let's see what are those. Number one, data acquisition. The first step is gathering data. This is done through smart meters, submeters, and sensors, which allow for detailed and real-time data collection. Second, data storage and management. Once collected, data must be securely stored and managed. EMS platform can be cloud-based or on-premises, but they must be scalable and reliable to handle large datasets over time. The third one, analytic and visualization. Data alone isn't enough. EMS platform provide dashboard, trend analysis, and benchmarking tool to convert raw data into actionable insights. This helps team track performance and identify opportunities for improvement. Number four, reporting and alerts. Customizable report and automated alert can be set up to notify a staff of abnormal energy usage or any equipment issues. This allows for quick corrective action and minimize energy waste. Fifth one, integration. Lastly, an EMS should be able to interface with facility control systems such as SCADA, DCS, PLC, and maintenance management system to provide seamless data exchange and enhance operational efficiency. Together, these components enable the facility to systematically monitor, analyze, and improve energy performance. Now, I wanted to quickly illustrate why organizations are shifting toward EMS by comparing it with traditional energy management practices. In a traditional approach, energy data is gathered manually, often through monthly utility bills, which limit the ability to take timely actions. EMS automate data collection with smart meters and sensors providing real-time insights. Traditional methods are reactive, addressing problem only after high bill arrive. EMIS enable early detection of energy waste or um, uh, EMIS enable early detection of energy waste, so corrective action can be taken immediately. Where traditional energy management struggles with trend analysis and benchmarking, EMS excel with advanced analytic dashboard and performance tracking tools. Manual reporting is another challenge with traditional systems, often requiring significant time and resources. EMIS simplified this by offering automated report and alerts. Finally, traditional energy management typically operate in isolation from facility operations. EMIS integrates seamlessly with process control like SCADA and PC and DCS, providing a comprehensive connected view of energy performance. Now let's explore the key component of an EMIS eligible for the SEMI program. Number one, energy review. The EMIS must include a comprehensive analytical assessment that tracks current energy use, identifies significant energy consuming area, and highlight opportunities for improvement. Second, energy baseline, a reference point for measuring energy performance over time established using historical data to monitor changes in energy consumption. 3. Energy performance indicator or ENPIS, metrics used to assess and qualify energy performance relative to the established baseline. Then monitoring and measurement, a structured method to track, analyze, and improve energy performance over time. This includes capturing and visualization of the data in a real time or near real time. Features such as energy heat maps, overlay charts, and trend graphs should be used to provide actionable insight. And then competence, training, and awareness. Personnel at all levels must have the necessary knowledge and a skill to implement and maintain the energy management system. This is supported by ongoing training and awareness program, which we offer through SEM. Energy target and action plan. The EMIS must support the setting of measurable energy goals that align with the facility energy policy. It should also enable the development of action plan to meet these targets. At a minimum, this plan must include timelines, assigned responsibilities, and necessary resources. And finally, the EMIS must be implemented by an eligible contractor. And now let's look at some ineligible systems. Systems that don't provide energy visibility at all organization levels. Without cross-organizational visibility, the system lacks the strategic value expected from EMIS to deliver energy efficiency improvement. A standalone dashboard without formal procedure or improvement loops, which some of you provided the current situation of the EMIS in your facility. Those are unfortunately ineligible EMIS system. EMIS are not passive display. They support target setting, performance analysis, and continuous improvement. Also, generic SCADA or control system used solely for operational control are ineligible. Process control platform that focus only on operational control without tracking energy performance do not qualify. Now, last but not least, let's quickly review the enrollment process. The EMIS registration is straightforward and handled through the portal www.semiprogram.ca. Step 1, submit an EMIS application. This can be done by your eligible contractor. Step 2, ERA service provider, review the application. Step 3, confirm scope, budget, and sign T's and C's. Step 4, implement the EMIS at your facility. Step 5, submit post-activity deliverable. Step 6, submit invoices and receive incentive. And one final note, if you choose to proceed with EMIS, the FRA, which we call it Facility Readiness Assessment delivered by Enerva, include the required specification, which you can send it to your EMIS vendor and request the proposal. I'll now pass it over to Ian, who brings first-hand expertise implementing EMIS in industrial facilities. We have invited Ian to share practical insight from the field, but it is important to note that SEMI participants are encouraged to explore multiple vendors options to obtain competitive quotes before selecting a solution that best fit their need. Ian, the panel is yours.
Thanks, Mostafa. Thanks for passing over. And so, yeah, that's I guess the intention of the next 10 or so, 15 slides would be really getting into the nuts and bolts of an EMIS and how I guess, our EMIS offering functions, and then some examples of success with EMIS deployments. So I guess first off, I want to kind of give a little bit of background on where I come from. So my name's, as I kind of mentioned, Ian Ignatiuk. I'm a solution consultant with Spartan Controls, and I'm part of our industrial software and applications team. So I think a lot of our customers who know Spartan know us for valves and transmitters and maybe our DCS system, Delta V, and as an Emerson Impact partner. But we actually have quite a large team now focused on delivering value to our customers through the application of software and advanced technologies that layer on top of that initial automation investment that our customers have already made. So this is a team we've kind of developed over the past 20 years. And so we've been focused on delivering value to our customers, combining our technical expertise. We got a large team here with qualified professionals with the best-in-class technology that we're lucky to represent, along with a structured project deployment model to make sure that the project goes smoothly. So EMIS, or energy management, is a perfect example of this. And our EMIS system specifically is an offering from Blue Marvel called Blue Marvel Energy. So yeah, I mean, Mostafa kind of covered some of this, but I'm going to cover a bit of it again as far as what we see from our customers. So EMIS is an energy management information system, which is really focused on taking a variable cost, being your energy consumption, a variable cost, and turning it into a fixed expense. So really hoping to manage where that energy is coming from and going to, through the process of tracking, benchmarking, and predicting energy consumption based on the current operating conditions. So the outcomes in EMIS can be expected to, deliver are really that resource optimization, minimizing the energy consumption in the facility, some cost savings through that, whether that's through energy or GHG incentives, and really ensuring that long-term energy longevity, for a site as we try to add more parts to our facility and use the same amount of energy. So this is a little bit of overlap as well, but I really want to hit on this. Well, the outcome of an EMIS is really directly to reduce the amount of energy consumed. When we interact with our customers, we've really seen a couple of common drivers, and one or all of these drivers might be the right reason to pursue an EMIS in your facility. So while we're talking about energy reduction, the drivers can actually be more tied to accountability or increasing profitability, increasing energy costs that your facility is experiencing, operational challenges, so maybe certain scenarios that cause spikes in energy consumption. And then the last two that really can come is the GHG regulations or carbon tax, which are more regulatory driven. So one or all of these might be the right reason to pursue an EMIS kind of in your facility. So how do we actually deploy an EMIS to drive action? So we like to say an EMIS is part of what we call a see, decide, act loop. So it's essentially an open form of optimization, meaning that it relies on a human in the loop to be effective. So an EMIS accomplishes this through empowering that human to kind of identify the energy overconsumption in real time and act to correct it. So this process begins really with ensuring that you have the proper visibility into the energy consumption in your facility and where that overconsumption is occurring, giving the ability to drill down to the appropriate plant area or energy account center, which is the term we'll use, or piece of an asset or piece of equipment that's causing that energy overconsumption. And once you've identified the root cause of that overconsumption, then you can identify and choose how to act to rectify that overconsumption. So that last part is really required to enable the human to act to implement the change in order to see the reduction and drive the energy back towards the energy target, or energy consumption back to the energy target. So this is actually a nice quote. This actually came from a customer that we had, because I know some of you are probably saying we already do this, and we saw that in kind of the slides there. We have a lot of our customers have preliminary tools they're using to track energy usage, but deploying an EMIS really gives it that structure to make it more effective. And it's part of a larger program deployment that you'll need that Mostafa was pointing to a bit. So he kind of made this illusion that without having an actual effective energy management system, it's kind of like trying to get somewhere in a city you've never been to without Google Maps. So it might take you longer than you want to get there, You're going to miss all the shortcuts. You'll never know how far you've actually gone, and you never know how far you have left to go. You may just end up kind of lost. So it's not to say that you can't make progress in your energy journey without an EMIS, but an EMIS really allows you to capture, quantify, and act on this energy consumption and overconsumption. So most of our customers that we run into when they're talking to us have something that looks like this. It's an Excel sheet that somebody's built somewhere, and it's bringing in information in the facility. And this is really closer to a reactive model, as Mostafa mentioned earlier. So we need to be able to predict and act on energy overconsumption when it happens, and not wait till the end of the week or the end of the month to realize we've used too much. So a good analogy I like to use for this is it's kind of like opening your NMAX bill at the end of the month and realizing you left a window open for the past 20 days. I mean, it shows you exactly how much energy overconsumption happened, but it doesn't necessarily help you to reduce that energy consumption. So this is why we need a bigger structure in part of a program to reduce energy usage within a facility. So this is why an EMIS is part of a larger standard called the Energy Management Systems Model. So it's ISO 50001. And so this is a model used to make energy management a continuous effort and not a one-time process. It's important to ensure that predictive models in the EMIS are accurate over time, and that they're not additional opportunities to kind of improve that energy performance and lower the baseline that's predicted by the EMIS over time. So in this way, an EMIS is a kind of a technology piece enabling a proper ISO 50001 program. So to do this properly, we really need to make sure we define the KPIs that we're measuring and refine them over time, ensure there's a proper metering in place to both measure the overall energy consumption and where it's going to get that root cause, use data analysis, data science to identify those predictive models, and lastly, deploying the EMIS to actually enable that see, decide, act loop. So it's one part of this larger model to drive success for energy management. So there's many components to go into this, and a lot of our customers have one of these components or two of these components, but not necessarily all of them set up in order to do this. So each missing any one of these might lead to an ineffective EMIS. So these include the energy sensors and measurements that you need, a data historian to store the information, measurement integrity checking to make sure the measurements you're relying upon actually stay accurate, dynamic targets that respond to plant performance, not just static targets based on previous consumption, proper kind of ISA 95 model to organize the energy consumption, both by energy account centers and/or process units and areas. You need alarms and logging to really alert your users of overconsumption in real time so they can act upon it. And then data analysis and reporting of the performance on a historic basis. So this all gets tied up, and usually what people see when they see an EMIS is a visualization tool or a dashboard, but that's just kind of one piece in the bigger picture of how we need to monitor and manage our energy consumption. So what does that look like for us? So our Blue Marvel EMIS usually it's a cloud-based EMIS, so that lives in either your L3 or L4 layers of the Purdue model. This allows our EMIS to connect and process data across multiple data sources and make the information available to the whole enterprise. Really, and that's an important note there that you want to both to the site-based folks or your corporate folks, and really the ability to not just pull data from your DCS, but multiple potential sources in your facility that might contribute to your energy consumption. So this whole cloud-based environment also enables analysis tools that we have available to us in a cloud environment. So while this might seem complicated, and this slide isn't meant to really have you read every page, it's really to note that it's not necessarily easy to build out an EMIS over time, and can be expensive. I saw some of you note the high upfront costs. So having a pre-built solution can really simplify that deployment process and allow you to accomplish this sooner. So on the next page there, we have some of the advantages, I guess, kind of captured in having a cloud-based solution, because it really allows us to do that in a more proactive manner, enabling that data integration across multiple points and sites, so we can tie multiple sites into a single enterprise EMIS. Being cloud-based also allows access from anywhere, so that's from inside the control room, remote operating center, or even on your phone from your home office or whatnot. So cybersecurity is kept simple. We use an Auth0 authentication platforms for single sign-on. So it uses your existing organization's login credentials. And we use a containerized deployment method. So that allows for easy deployment if you're deploying in your local corporate cloud or in a web-based cloud like AWS. So being cloud-based also allows for continuous updates of the product. So it's not a single deployment of that product, but has not a static deployment, but it's upgraded over time as the product evolves in a kind of a subscription basis there. So that can be a lot for a lot of our customers to take in. So we always say when we're starting on our digital journey, we really want to think big, but let's start small. So we can do that in a modular basis. We can start with a specific process area that maybe has the best data infrastructure and document the success in that initial area. So fortunately, this kind of modular framework allows us to arrange the energy consumption into energy account centers that span across process units, and then kind of tack in process units over time till we get to a full deployment on site. So normally we start suggesting with a smaller area, and then as we see success, we can justify that larger deployment in the rest of the plan. So we really want to make it digestible to start. So even in terms of modeling, we would adopt an evolving approach where we can start with some static KPIs, for example. For example, our steam consumption might be 5,000 tons per day, and then move to historical benchmarks, move from those historical benchmarks rather of past performance to dynamic energy targets. So take into account the current running facility operation. So that's production, ambient temperature, quality set points, feed composition, and really take all those things into note to develop dynamic targets that would represent the current operating facility based on any given day what the energy targets might be. And that would be for everything in the facility that uses energy. That includes steam, water, fuel, electricity, or even chemical reagents can be tracked through an EMIS. So what does that actually look like? So this is a screenshot of what our EMIS actually looks like deployed. So you can see real-time tracking of KPIs here with a dynamic baseline. So you got your actual versus target in a time-based window at the top here. Certain assets, we're tracking the consumption of that asset for the time window that we're looking at, and the top violators along the right. So this allows you to kind of see in real time where there's overconsumption and then drill down based on the asset, process boundary, or even based on the energy account center to see where that overconsumption is happening. So in the next page, this is kind of that drill down feature. So when you go into a specific account or asset, this is an equipment level where we see more detailed view to help monitor the equipment level KPIs, identify data issues, diagnose equipment level issues, and enable both real-time and retrospective analysis. So I kind of have an example of each of those in the slides coming up. And the other thing all our customers love to see is the Sankey diagram. So this is generated in real time. This shows allows you to really visualize where the energy in your facility is coming from and going to, tracking the resource flow through the facility. So how about some real examples here? So this is actually a screenshot of a scenario that we ran into. This is what we would call a real-time overconsumption event. So in this case, we had a customer who was coming out from a turnaround, and there was a measurement issue that they had actually had gone undiagnosed till the EMIS caught it. And so there was a work order that had been completed during the turnaround, and due to this, there was something that wasn't done quite appropriately on that work order. And due to this, the measured steam generation was reporting low. So as control systems work, they don't look at how much should be there. They act on a set point. And so what happened when they came back up is that the control system worked to try and hit that steam target. So while it was measuring low, it started cranking up the fuel gas into the appropriate area to try and generate the steam that it was targeted to produce. And then we noticed that fuel gas consumption way above what we should be using for that given time. So at that, we were able to identify that, kind of note the source of the issue. The operation put the controls back into manual and did a little bit of quick homework referencing those work orders, and we're able to identify where that was coming from. So you can see here, they kind of corrected the measurement issue there. And this was all caught within the first day coming up. I think it was actually caught within 12 to 18 hours after coming up here. So through the use of an EMIS, there was a kind of an overconsumption event of the resource that was quickly identified. And this allowed the operation to really come back up and fix that overconsumption, and then turn the controls back into auto very quickly before they ran like that for potentially a day or a week without noticing. So next we have kind of a historical example. So this is that was a real-time example. Our EMIS can also allow you to do retrospective analysis. So in this case, a customer is auditing the use of their auxiliary boiler to supplement their steam energy production. And this is a boiler that they use only when required. So it's something they operate manually, but they do bring up and down depending on how much additional steam and energy they need. And through the energy modeling, looking over the historic data, they were able to identify operating conditions where they were running this auxiliary boiler, but not necessarily needing to. The additional energy was resulting in a much higher than needed kind of buffer in the facility and costing them significant dollars during that time period. So those are kind of two issues we would catch with an EMIS, but there's many other ones. Those typical issues that we identify with an EMIS are equipment inefficiencies, like the last one, instrument issues. So those are the two that we kind of looked at, but you can also look at process constraints, infrastructure gaps, human errors, or even operational challenges are things that we might identify. So another example of this would be manually operated valves that might be hard to monitor from the control room. We had one of our customers that had a bypass valve that had been cracked open during an upset scenario. And then because that was something that was done on the fly during the upset scenario, it was accidentally left open when the upset was mitigated. So the EMIS was able to kind of detect that additional flow with that bypass, and then we were able to track back to that event and make that, I guess, come back to that more quickly. So if you're looking at these kind of challenges on the left here, identifying that energy trade-off opportunities, desire to manage the energy consumption, identifying and prioritizing energy projects, these are all things that an EMIS can help with. So these are probably things that you're looking at manually right now, and the EMIS will give you that structure to really achieve that success. So we often see things like 5 to 8% reduction in energy consumption by closing that loop, transforming that variable cost kind of to a managed expense. And really bringing that visibility of those anomalies to everybody in the operation to get a quicker loop to seeing where that overconsumption happens. So it allows you to monitor energy use in all forms on your site or across your whole enterprise. So that's a quick flyover of our EMIS solution from a product we call Blue Marvel Energy. And so now I'll pass it back to Anna here for the rest of the presentation.
With that, let's move into the final part of our presentation, our Q&A session. I wanted to highlight that on the SEMI website, we have provided answers to commonly asked questions. On this site, I have also provided a summary of the most common questions we have received to date about SEMI. If you haven't already, please type in your question in the questions section of the control panel, which is on the right-hand side of your screen. The first question is, how long will an FRA take to complete, and what is the approximate cost? The cost of the FRA will depend on the several variables, including the size and complexity of your facility. Additionally, the duration will depend on your ability to provide the documentation required to complete the FRA. During a scoping meeting, we'll work with you to determine the cost of the FRA. We anticipate that most participants will have enough in-kind contributions to offset any of out-of-pocket expenses to complete the FRA. Once you are satisfied with the scope of work with cost estimate, you will sign the agreement and proceed with the FRA. We anticipate the FRA will take 2 to 4 months to complete following the site visit. Number 2, as contractors, can we access the SEMI participant list? Can ERA put us contractors in touch with the SEMI participants who need a contractor? Once SEMI participants register on the portal, they will have access to the list of eligible contractors in the SEMI program. They will be able to filter this list by the activity they would like to complete and also by region in Alberta. ERA does not endorse any contractors, and the list is only meant as a reference. We also always recommend that the SEMI participants get 3 quotes before moving forward with a contractor. Congrats to all of you who made it is far. Now it's your opportunity to ask any questions that you have for us. Please note that we'll be using your questions to inform our frequently asked questions, and we'll send a link to the updated version to all our attendees after the webinar. I would now like to introduce my colleague Melanie, SEMI Program Analyst, who will moderate the Q&A session. She has been keeping tabs on your questions in the background. Melanie, what questions do we have so far?
Thank you, Anna. We have a lot of good questions coming in, and we likely won't have time to answer all of them today. So please, if we don't get to your question, submit it to us by email at semi@eralberta.ca, and we'll be happy to follow up with you. With that said, let's get started. Our first question is about the government incentive stacking. I will go ahead and answer this one. So it's important to note that the maximum level of total government funding must not exceed 75% of total project cost. However, if the recipient is a provincial, territorial, municipal government, or a registered not-for-profit or Indigenous-owned recipient, the total Canadian government funding authorized can cover up to 100% of the total project cost. Our second question here would be for Mostafa. What is the current uptake of MEIS in the Canadian industries? Is it on the rise?
Thanks, Melanie. What we have seen it overall, the trend is upward, especially as more companies prioritize ESG performance and seek data-driven way to meet carbon reduction target. ESG stands for environment, social, and governance. Large companies, we have seen it with a dedicated team, are likely more to adopt EMIS. Small to mid-sized facilities may face some challenges, such as lack of internal expertise or upfront cost, as we have seen it from the poll. However, the SEMI program is designed to bridge these gaps by offering support and funding at any stage for your need. Thanks, Melanie.
Excellent. Thanks, Mostafa. I have another question for you here. Can you remind us the eligibility criteria of an MEIS in the SEMI program?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we already covered that one. As a recap, the system must analyze current energy use, establish a historical baseline to track the performance over time, and identify key improvement area. It should feature real-time monitoring or near real-time monitoring tools to provide actionable insight, and must also support clear, measurable energy goals with timeline, assigned responsibilities, and required resources. And most importantly, the system must be implemented by a qualified contractor. Hope that answered the question.
Thank you so much, Mostafa. I will now direct our two next questions to Ian. So first, Ian, do the Spartan Control MEIS sensor have API integration, and can existing hardware be used in pursuit of setting up the system?
Sure. So I'll answer the second part of that first. So definitely existing hardware can be used in pursuit of setting up the EMIS or the EMIS, but sometimes we do need to supplement that hardware to make sure we have the appropriate measurements in place to track where that energy usage is going. From that though, then we tie all the sensors into our EMIS solution. And so the sensors itself don't necessarily have any, I'm not sure if sensors having API integration, but our EMIS does have an API to allow you to egress the data out of the EMIS as well. So all those kind of calculations that are happening in the background, the data is available to be egressed out and used anywhere else in your organization.
Thanks for clarifying that, Jan. Another question for you is, can an MEIS report specific equipment energy usage, such as lighting system, for example?
Yeah, no, absolutely. As long as the measurements are there, then the EMIS can report specific energy usage for those systems. So that's what we kind of call these energy account centers. These are logical groupings of certain pieces of equipment. So you could create, say, an energy account center for all the lighting in your areas, and that way, whether the lighting is across multiple process areas, you'd be able to track the energy usage for specifically lighting across the whole plant through that energy account center.
Awesome. Thanks, Jan. Now I have a question for Mostafa. I just registered as a contractor, but I don't see my company on the contractor list. What should I do?
That's a good question. Newly registered contractor undergo a manual review before being added to the list, and it will take about 5 business days to process. If you have a portal or registration question or issues, please contact us at techsupport@semiprogram.ca. We are happy to address them individually.
Perfect. Thank you. I can now answer the next question, which is, as a contractor and an approved AEAA vendor, what is the best route to facilitate the client accessing funding from this program? So first, make sure you're registered as a contractor on the SEMI portal. If you need more information on this, you can watch our last webinar tailored for contractors. Next, we invite you to visit the SEMI website to review the supporting documents, such as the terms and conditions and application guides. Note that some activities have specific requirements for contractors. The FAQ section is also a helpful resource with answers to around 45 common questions so far. Once you're familiar with the program, your client can register on the SEMI portal to start their application. We'll share the link on the next slide, and it's also available on the SEMI website. Your client will then be able to select and assign you to their applications so you can assist them with completing it. If you have any questions about eligibility or next step, please contact us at semi@eraalberta.ca. Moving on to our next question. This one will be for Mostafa. Is the program incentive allows either MEIS level 1 or MEIS level 2, or is it a specific one for type only?
That's a very good question. We know from the NRCan handbook or guideline, there are multiple class of the EMI system. Some other jurisdictions define it differently. For example, in Ontario, it's called basic, advanced, different terminology. What we are offering here is the custom-made EMIS based on your need. So it doesn't matter if you call it like a level 1 or level 2. The bottom line is the EMIS should satisfy the requirement of the program and support your needed. So as long as that aligned with your plan or target, we can work toward it to make it happen through the program.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Our next question would be for Jan. Do your products work with other products or technology that can help with energy arbitrage strategies?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. I think how we integrate with that would require understanding what that product is. But whether there's another product or data source that could provide some insight into that energy consumption, we could integrate it into the EMIS on the input. Or as I kind of mentioned earlier, our APIs make the data available to come out and potentially be used in another application that could be you could be using to arbitrage energy use. So both on the kind of the input, consuming the data from others, or supplying data to another application are available through our products.
Thank you, Jan. My next question will be for Mostafa. A more generic question here. Are breweries or distilleries eligible for this program?
That's a generic question, as you indicated. We have a team of outreach. First, we need to satisfy your NACE code. If your facility is one of those eligible NACE code, there are other requirements. Let's say, for example, you have a 1 year working in that facility with the data set available, some other requirement. So reach out to us through the SEMI at Enerva or era.ca, and we are happy to address it specifically.
Thank you, and great thank you all for your participation. Special thanks to Mostafa and Ian for addressing those questions. And Anna, I will now hand it back to you to close the webinar.
Thank you all. With that, we are approaching the end of our webinar. Ready to start your SEMI journey? Register on the online portal today. We are here to support you every step of the way. We invite you to visit the SEMI program website at eralberta.ca/SEMI. As already mentioned, you will find the application guide, FAQs, terms and conditions, and other supporting documents. If you have unanswered questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to our program team at semi@eralberta.ca. A link to the presentation will also be sent to all of those who registered for the webinar, as well as posted on ERA's YouTube page. Thank you for joining our webinar, and we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Have a wonderful day.